Hello, everyone. Welcome to my journey of resilience, a podcast series where I share with you my stories from my work life experience, helping you through it so that you build your own resilience. In our, se- in our session today, I have titled it as Emotional Labeling Technique. And in this emotion label technique, we will learn how, through labeling our emotions, we will be able to not only increase our self awareness, our resiliency skills. But before that, I would also like to share with you a small story from my work life experience many years ago when I first had my bout of vertigo. It was so worse that I was barely able to walk. And at that point in time in my life, this was almost some 15 years ago, where I was not anxious because of this vertigo, this bout of vertigo and inner ear infection that I was suffering from. The very thought of not really able to walk, and one day while in one of the meetings, when I had this bouts of vertigo again, I had to seek help of a colleague to help me till the parking lot towards my car. And with her help, I was able to get back home. That day, I was way more anxious and stressed, not just because of the vertigo, but because of the very lack of independence I thought was away from my life. This kind gesture of my colleague who helped me get to my car and go back home brought in a profound impact on me. That was also a day where I promised myself that I would neglect my health for my work. And in my doing so, 15 years later now, today I find myself completely changed to the way I would look at work. And by the grace of God, have tremendously improved on my health. One of the techniques that I learned during my personal growth journey, including building my resilience, was on labeling our emotions, which is also deeply connected to our self-awareness, and which in then help us build our resilience skills. So this is what I'm going to teach with you today, because I practice this very often, and I'm sure you would doing so will help you build your self-awareness, improve on your emotional intelligence, also your resilience skills. So let's get started. You can grab a book so that you make notes. So, first thing, when you go through a difficult time, and this you can do it anytime, you feel stressed, overwhelmed, and not really emotionally in control. The very first step that you could do here is to, this will be actually in 7 steps. So let's do it the first step by step. We name the emotion technique. So, first step is you find where you're not likely to be disturbed for maybe a minute and pause and breathe. Many a times when we feel overwhelmed, very anxious and stressed, we often forget that we are all gifted with this gift of breathing. And just one deep breath is good enough to calm your inner system. And the moment your inner system is calmed, when I say the inner system, it's your mind and your gut, which is your stomach. And taking this deep breath in through your nose for 4 seconds can help you shift your internal state and activate your parasympathetic nervous system. So do that. It is also one of the most basic steps to building resilience. So take a deep breath in through your nose seconds, hold for 4 seconds, and exhale slowly for 6 seconds. As this calms your nervous systems, it helps you and prepares you to process your emotions. The step 2 of it. Ask yourself, what am I feeling? So don't push the feeling away, just observe it. What is it you're feeling right now? If you have a book handy, or you are like me, I'm very someone who writes a lot. So if you're like me, you can pull out your notepad or even on your laptop. Just ask and answer this via writing or typing, so that you put your emotions out on the paper or on the screen and observe it. Don't label it good or bad, just let it exist. Then, next, be very specific of this emotion. So, don't write statements like I feel bad, just get specific. Like, for example, am I feeling anxious? Am I feeling frustrated? Is it disappointment, shame, or sadness? And most of the scientific research indicates that when we name emotions, it automatically reduces their intensity and gives you control over them. So, the more specific you are, don't give vague statements, the more you feel you will have a grip onto your emotions. Next step, also try to locate it in your body. By this, I mean, when you are filled with emotions, you have named them and very specifically, ask yourself, do you feel it physically too? Not all of us may have physical symptoms. Don't have, that's absolutely okay. But if you have, try to locate it in your body. Where in your body do you feel it? Is it in your chest, a lump in your throat, heaviness in your stomach? By doing this, you're basically connecting your body and mind here. And if you have no signals or sensations in your body, that's absolutely fine. But just if you have, make a note of it. Next, ask yourself, what is this emotion telling me? Every emotion, friends, carry a message. Is it fear? What message this emotion is telling you? Is it guiding you that there's a boundary that has been crossed, therefore you are angry? That for you to process a loss, there's something you have been suppressing for a while. There is something you need to prepare. It could be anything, but writing it down, what this emotion is telling you, will help you respond to it in a more wise way. Next, accept whatever arises. So you have now you have taken a deep breath, then you have observed your emotion, then you became very specific about it, then you have written down the specific name to this emotion. Then that you also check on into your body sensations. Now you're asking yourself what this emotion is telling you. And finally, you accept and normalize it. Meaning, if you're feeling anxious, you will be amazed when you tell yourself, I am, and you will feel that the emotion has lost a grip on you. Most of the times, most emotions, when we just keep them in our head and try to put them into a back burner where we don't want to access it right now because you have a meeting to run, where we don't want to access it right now because you have a meeting to run, you will be just putting it aside but not fully resolving it. And then doing this over a period of time, you find that some emotions comes out really strong, and the more you suppress them, the more. So a better method to this is to acknowledge it, to give a label, a specific one, check if it is bringing any physical sensations, look for what it is telling you, any advice, guidance, accept because we are human, we all kinds of emotion, and it is human to experience it. So simply accept you're not a machine. So acknowledge your emotions so that it becomes way more easier to process them. And then, towards the last step, choose your response. Either you specifically named it, you know the connection with your body, you know what it is telling you, you acknowledge it. Now you've also accepted it. Now you decide how you will handle it. Do you need a break? Can you reframe this thought? Or do you need to talk to someone? Can you reframe this thought? Or do you need to talk to someone? These are some of the questions you can ask yourself when you are going to choose your response. This will help you deal with your emotions instead of a reactive way to a way more resilient way. So, an example of this would be you get a critical feedback at work. So, you first pause and breathe, then you observe, I feel uneasy. Then you name it. This is embarrassment and frustration. Then you locate it in your feel a tightness in my chest. Then you understand it. I care about my work and I don't like criticism. Then you accept it. It's okay to feel this way. And then you respond to it. I can learn from this and improve. So in a nutshell, if you can keep a notepad or a book handy, as you practice this, this becomes part of your way of dealing with difficult emotions. And you will find with consistent practice that the more self aware you become, the way easier it is for you to deal with emotions, with the external world, and also build your resilience. So go ahead and practice it and let me know your success story. You can share this with me via my email that I'm sharing here, along with the link I'm sharing here, along with the link to my website, where if you would like to take this ahead, where you may want to build your resiliency, you want to overcome a challenge, you find yourself stuck in your career progress, description box of this podcast and connect with me. I love to hear back from you and let's talk and take this conversation ahead. Thank you.